Welcome to the Untrapped podcast, where we give motivational and inspirational tips about life, small business, wisdom,
health, wealth, finance, relationships.
It's about being the best you that you can possibly be. Hashtag Untrapped. Welcome to the Untrapped podcast. I am your host, Keith Kalfas.
What's up, guys? This is Keith Kalfas with the Untrapped podcast, and we have a special guest on today's show. This is going to be so awesome. Now, the show is with my wife and I, Ashley Kalfas and me, and we're talking about relationships, small business, entrepreneurship. And then halfway into the show at the 45-minute mark, Brian and Liz Fullerton from Brian's Lawn Maintenance on YouTube, they're a married power couple, and they come on the show, and it's awesome. We call in, and we're able to get them on live, and it's awesome. So if you want to listen to the whole podcast, cool. If you want to fast forward straight to where it's all four of us talking, fast forward to 45 minutes. It's up to you, and enjoy the show.
What's up, guys? This is Keith Kalfas with the Untrapped podcast, and we have a special guest, my wife, Ashley Kalfas. Let's get started. Welcome to the Untrapped podcast.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good, Keith Kalfas. How are you?
Guys, if you've seen my wife in the videos, the Wife-a-tron, I call her. And I actually started calling her that because in the beginning when I was making YouTube videos, I was like, do I really want to, say my wife's name for privacy purposes, really without her explicit written and legal consent? But we didn't know what to expect, and now everything's cool. So the Wife-a-tron is here, and in this episode, first of all, I want to say thank you for listening to the podcast. We're about to cross 100,000 downloads now, and it's moving up. The show is taking off, and for those of you avid listeners, when I meet you in person, like we went to the GIE Expo just this year and some other live events, and I meet you guys come up to me and shake my hand and say, you listen to my podcast. Really exciting, motivating, and inspiring to me, because now we're going to have a lot more awesome guests on the show. We have my wife on today, but in the future, we're going to have green industry experts, people of small business, people who have, are doing great things, have tons of value to offer. So thanks so much. You can listen to this on any major podcast platform. But anyways, let's get started. Ashley.
What's up?
We went live on the Landscaping Employee Trap YouTube channel, and thanks, it just hit 80,000 subscribers and I think 15 million views. And then we had some technical difficulties. So this was a live video version. So if you're over here, special treat. This is not on the video. You have to come over here to listen to this. But we started talking about relationships and small business. Being married, having a small business, it's not an average 9-to-5 gig. It can get stressful. It has its ups and downs. The ups can be high. The downs can be really low, especially with the seasonal business. I know, like you guys, in the summer here in the Midwest, I work 90 hours a week in the high season, and I'm just not home. And it's taken, my wife and I have been together 10 years. Married for 7.5, and it took a good 5 years for us to, maybe 6 years, to stop, maybe 7 years, to stop fighting in June, July, and August, because I was just never freaking home. And now she just understands that it's really hard during those times, and I miss her too, because that's when you got to grind constantly to, that's when all the work's coming in. And I really feel that she supports me and I support her on a whole new level. But I remember some of those dark, scary nights when we got in the fight.
And you were up all night and then had to wake up in the morning and go run a business and operate machinery and equipment. Like, we would fight and, like, there would be no resolution. to our fights. So we would fight, and the fight would last like a week of just ignoring each other and being mad at each other and just treating each other awful.
I was talking to somebody. I actually think I got lunch with my pastor, and the words that came out of my mouth is my wife and I spent 5 years during the bad times. We were treating each other like shit and didn't even realize we were doing it.
Don't say the S word.
Oh, sorry.
Say poop. Poop or crap.
So I would do things, and my wife would be, she would say that I'm treating her bad and making her and hurting her. And I didn't understand what the hell I was doing to hurt her. And then I thought she was crazy, and I thought she was literally emotionally was messed up in the head or something, because I wasn't doing anything to hurt her, and I didn't feel like I was hurting. I wasn't intentionally trying to hurt her, yet I was hurting her. I was like, and I started to actually have this breakdown where I was like, what am I, a cactus? Am I a human cactus? Like, I can't even hug my wife without hurting her. And then I started thinking, this is a deep rabbit hole, and she's going to take the floor and say stuff too. But I was going and getting coaching and reading books and trying to find out what the hell was wrong with me. And if she was really crazy, or if I had these deep-seated emotional blocks going back to my childhood that I wasn't even aware. And then how in the hell can I be hurting somebody if I'm not trying to hurt them? And you're not even aware you're doing it. Oh my God. Then you start questioning your own sanity. Am I actually insane, but I think I'm not? Do I have hidden parts and dimensions of my ego? Am I demon possessed? What is going on here? And so when she said that we would fight for like a week with no resolution, because there's a saying that I love. It's a lot easier to raise a healthy intimacy than it is to try to fix a broken one. And we had a fragmented intimacy that was all great in many ways. The center of it was pure love and broken in different ways. And we didn't know how to face it and fix it. So we would just suffer it out and hope it would get better. And then after a couple of weeks, it would get better. A few months would go by. And then like the whack-a-mole game, it keeps popping up somewhere else, and you hit it with a hammer, and then it pops up somewhere else. This thing would rear its ugly head. And next thing you know, the smallest thing, it'd be like a tire falling off of a car. We'd spin out and be in this crazy argument for a week. We didn't have any stability in our home. And it was very, very painful. And neither of us knew how to fix it. And it was pretty painful.
But what did we do to fix it?
Well, I know what I did.
What'd you do?
Why is that funny?
It's just the way you said it.
I made this decision one day. I'm sorry I'm talking so much, so I'm going to shut up and she will talk for like the whole time. I made this decision to love you like no matter what. I closed and sealed off any thought of a back door. And what I mean by that is when we'd get in really bad fights, it got so bad that you would say like the divorce word. And instead of realizing that you would be serious in the moment, but instead of realizing that you were expressing your, and I'm not saying I'm right here. This is just when I'm over.
It's a feeling though when you're saying that.
Expressing the depth of your hurt. I would take you seriously, and then I would start freaking out and planning my escape or planning how to defend myself if this happened. And I was always ready for the wheels to fall off and ready for a breakdown, so I'd never let you in, and I wouldn't trust you, and you didn't trust me. It's like we were always holding each other at arm's length. So what I started doing is loving you unconditionally no matter what. No matter what. Like I would go into a burning building and carry you out. I would set myself on fire for you. I would die for you. I would do anything for you. I would endure any amount of hopeless times or suffering or pain.
He's such a smooth talker. I'll die for you.
Well, I think
okay,
that
Bruno.
When my wife could feel that I wasn't going anywhere no matter what.
But I didn't realize that until I was put in a position to realize that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that our relationship has gotten stronger within this past year no. So I think in 2018, towards the end, I think you and I started to heal. Our relationship was on the beginning of healing. And then I got sick, and then we healed even more through all of that. And then we just got stronger throughout this year, I think. And I think that I've gotten rid of a lot of heaviness in my life too, to help. I feel like when as a person, if you have heaviness in your life, it affects your relationship, big time. So I had to do like a purge and get rid of things, and you had to do things to kind of make you feel better about the situation, because I feel like we both felt like we were at this point in our relationship where it was like there was all these things that were bugging us, but we never came to a resolution on anything. We would always fight, and then we would just make up, but we wouldn't like solve the problem. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I think that you like came to an understanding, and I came to an understanding. Like I was like, okay, wait a second. All of the things that we're fighting about like can be fixed. And I just have to understand him a little bit better, and he needs to understand me.
I felt like you didn't understand me.
I felt like you didn't understand me.
Wow. I have to say this while it's fresh on my heart. Whenever I would get upset about something, or I get in these moods where I need to just be left the F alone. And I want to, if I'm feeling angry or I need to decompress, leave me the F alone. But when I would feel that way, that wasn't, and I would tell you, I'm not mad at you, I'm not upset with you. And then you would take it personally like I was upset with you, and then you would start prying on me and like jumping on me with a hammer, trying to pry me open and peel me apart and trying to find out what's going on. And then it would exacerbate and create this problem where I would now actually start treating you like crap, because I would say, get the F away from me, stop talking to me, leave me alone, I just need to be alone. And then you were like, what are you doing, are you cheating on me? Like, oh, and then would blow up into this nuclear fight. And then I would leave, because I was like, I would just wanted to hit the gas pedal and just drive to like. There
was also other things going on though, because let's be real, because we're trying to help people though. Let's just be real.
Oh, I didn't finish it. But then something changed as I started to change, and we grew together. When I would be upset, I noticed you would do it once in a while, and then you started to do it more, this positive thing that I loved. Instead of getting upset and changing the tone in your voice, you would react with kindness and empathy and love. You would speak in a soothing tone. You would go, like you learned what my triggers were, and not to effing touch my triggers. Mm-hmm. You would tiptoe around them, not like an eggshells type of way, but like in a compassionate way. You would go, something, honey, in just the very soothing tone of your voice when I was hurt. Instead of me feeling angry, it switched to pure love and understanding. I felt so loved and understood by you. And now you do that like 99% of the time. I feel loved and understood by you. You don't press my buttons anymore. Like you used to like put on high heels and jump all over my buttons with like spikes and and now you don't do that anymore.
Because I stopped feeling like you were hurting me. So when I felt that I wasn't being hurt anymore by you, then I stopped trying to hurt you, because I would just want to dig at you, But I think that you've gotten better, because now we do date night. So we're for sure spending that night together. Like no matter what, even if there's nothing to watch on TV, we're still going to try. And I think one date night we were like on our phones, like working and doing things. But like we were together, and sitting next to each other, which is fine. But most of the time date night's like us doing something fun. And I think that was a turning point too, in like the repairs. And I don't think we were like broken to the point where we were really going to get a divorce though. Like, let's be honest.
No, not at all. No.
Like,
I never wanted to. I remember one time, like, I would leave or you would leave. You would just go to Tim Hortons, get a coffee, and then you'd come back in 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And you'd walk in the door and you'd have this smirk on your face. Mm-hmm.
Our fights got shorter and shorter, and our relationship got better and better over the years. I think that, like, see, I feel like entrepreneurs don't have like a normal lifestyle. So like you have the people that, you know, have really good jobs, like corporate jobs, or they went to school for a profession and they have their set schedule. Some people don't work 9 to 5. Some people have to work midnights. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of friends that are like in the medical field that work midnights. And anyways, you don't have like this as an entrepreneur. You don't just clock in and clock out. You have to, it's like always going type of deal. So you like, I think that you were so driven and on this path and like nobody could stop you. Like, and like, it's kind of like almost everybody was kind of left in the dust. And I felt like I was a part of that group that was left in the dust. And I think that it took me voicing it like, Keith, come on, I'm right here. Like we need to do something to where I feel like I'm still important to you. Like, I think that that's when, you know, and when you actually heard me and you were like, oh, because being an entrepreneur, it's hard on both sides of the relationship. And like, I even wanted to be an entrepreneur myself. So there was times when we weren't even like talking to each other the entire week. Like we barely spoke to each other. And there was just like no communication because we were just so driven on that path of, you know.
Wow, now that I think about it, those were some really hard times, and there's two sides to this. Like, I remember that there was a period where the only way we even felt love for each other was in intimate moments.
Mm-hmm.
And
that wasn't even happening that much.
Yeah. And it's like this negative pocket of energy grows and grows and grows, and you become separated from the person you love. The other side is, I follow this entrepreneur named Eben Pagan, and he said something really profound. He goes, I really think that everybody should have a period of their life. It could be 5 years where they become incredibly selfish and they just go head on towards their career and become absolutely one-track minded and obsessed with their goals. And that's the type of passion that it takes to get you to the next level. The depth.
Your spouse has to be on your side, though, if you want to do that. You and your spouse have to be on the same page, because I'm telling you, when you...
I didn't feel like you were on the same page with me,
and
so
I wasn't. I wasn't at first, and then...
You are now. And you don't have to be. I love you either way.
But you're not letting me finish.
Sorry.
Like, I was on the same page with you, but when you would like come to family events and you wouldn't be present at all with my family, and then I would have to deal with like the repercussions of like my family coming to me like, hey, you know, does Keith just not like want to be a part of our family? Like, you know, why does he even come? Like,
because I was angry and resentful of you and your family because you had 18 family events in 2018.
I know, but when you were like that, I'm telling you, like so you weren't telling me that you were resentful of like all of these things. So you were acting these ways, and I was going like, that's why I didn't support you. Yeah, because I didn't know why you were doing it. And I'm like, so I think lack of communication of our true feelings were a big problem in our relationship. And now my family's more understanding of you. Like, you float in, you make sure you spend like a good amount of quality time, and then you bounce. So that's acceptable.
Dude, I have no interest in sitting around with a bunch of people, even if I love them, and just like watching the fucking football game and eating turkey. Like, fuck that, dude. I'm going to be dead, and there's going to be a tombstone. Like, and there goes my life. I want to touch as many people as I can before I die, and I feel like nobody understands this mission.
So I now understand your mission, but you had to, you know, give a little bit too and say, okay, well, when I'm with family, I'm gonna be present with them, and then, you know, I'll have my business separate. Because I mean, you're not a machine, Keith. You're a human being. People love you, and you're married into a family just like I'm married into yours. So I attend family events with you and weddings, and I do all these things, and you know, we spend time with a lot of your family members.
See how she's maintaining her composure right now? That's so sexy to me, because part of me is just testing her, and then see.
Well, we've been through a lot, honey, and now it's good. We're at a good place, I think. I think that supporting each other is like the number one thing, and believing in each other, and like having that belief. Like if I could go back, and if I could be the older version to the younger version, and just go back and be like, listen, you just have to be like this, and tell him that like these specific things, and do these certain things, and everything will work out, and it'll be okay, and you guys are gonna be great together for the rest of your lives. I wish I could go back, but now I feel like it's good to talk about it, because maybe people are going through what we were going through then, where they just can't get on the same page. Like we literally could not get on the same page at all. I think a lot of it too was I was unhappy with where I was at, like, too. So, and it was hard because I had a lot on my plate, taking care of the house, laundry, all of that stuff, doing all of those things, cleaning and the animals, and then going to work full time, and then having my aprons too full time. It was too much for me to handle. I think a lot of it. So now everything's just really chill. We cut out a lot of the fatty tissue, out of our life, and
creating healthy boundaries with toxic people and toxic family members.
Getting those toxic people, man, they will literally suck the life out of you. They'll suck it right out. They'll suck time, energy, freedom, creativity. And I was one of those people that if somebody was doing that to me, I would keep on giving them chances, because I'm such a nice person. And I'll just let you walk all over me and frickin' treat me like dog crap. And, take my time. But I mean, I was like that. I'm not like that anymore. I've gotten better. See, you've taught me that, Keith. You have.
What?
You taught me to not let people suck my time, that my time's valuable, and that it's my life, and I shouldn't let other people dictate my life,
That was a cool little sound effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember there's a family member I have who's kind of toxic, and you used to tell me, why am I so hard on that person? And I'm like, well, just stick around for a while and you'll see. Hey, toxic, Eckhart Tolle, he talks about the pain body. It's an entity that jumps. So somebody could just call you on the phone, and the next thing you know, they dump all their trash on you, cry about their life, and now you're in anxiety over it. And then your husband or wife walks in the door, and now all of a sudden they want to tell you about their day, and now you mistreat them because you're having anxiety over it.
Or you're dumping what just got dumped on you onto them. Like, oh, can you believe this person just called me and this is going on? And now you're dumping it on them, Now
you're in a fight. Because it's almost like, imagine doing this to somebody, calling somebody that you supposedly love, and then crying and dumping all your negative energy. There's a book called Traction. You got to read it. It's about entrepreneurship, but monkeys on your back. They have a monkey on their back. You have a monkey on your back, and you want to take this monkey off your back and put it on somebody else's back that you supposedly love. And you take it off, you put it on their back. Take it. And you hang up the phone, and you go, no more monkey on my back. And now that person that you love is in a fight with their husband or wife, these people, and they're fighting while you get away scot-free.
That's a little dramatic.
Bastard.
Little dramatic.
It is dramatic.
I think it's more of like a heaviness that you're putting on that person. Like,
it's a monkey.
No, it's a heaviness. Like, picture it. You're doing it on a day where the sun's not out, so you're already in a gloomy mood, gloom and doom, and then somebody calls you with gloom and doom, and now you're like, no sun is shining on your face, and you just heard gloom, and you're like, oh, it just makes you feel like a turd, Like, to me, that's how it makes me feel. And then they
guilt trip you if you don't let them do it.
Mm-hmm. But I learned that, like, you literally, that the boundaries, like, to people, like, now I'm so bad. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think I blank out when people try to dump on me. I'll be like, oh, and then I'll be like, yeah. And I probably don't even listen to half the things.
I'll give you an example of boundaries that's helping. So say like Tuesday nights, we do date night. So every Tuesday night we cuddle up, we watch a movie, make some popcorn. This last Tuesday we watched Jumanji. Mm-hmm. And we go to the movies, we go out to eat, we do fun stuff. We'll just go to a little diner and split a sandwich and some soup and hang out. And most of the time we don't even bring our phones into the restaurant. And we really look forward to that. Now Sundays is when
we go over the week and stuff, and we do a lot. Well, Sundays we do church. We spend a lot of it with God and stuff, and then we eat lunch together, and then we kind of do our own thing for a little bit, and then we just...
My phones are mostly off on Sunday, and the only reason I'm on my phone is if I'm working. So I should pull a SIM card out of my phone. I don't like to talk to anybody on Sundays. Just ignore everybody. But what I'm talking about, if you want to create healthy boundaries with a negative person in your life, say, hey, we're going to come over for dinner once on Sunday every other week. We'll do a family dinner. We'll meet. And then don't talk to them for any other time or see them in person. Create structures and specific allotted days.
Now that's for family members though. But like a lot of my friends understand, like I could go, I just seen one of my best friends. I've been friends with her for 20 plus years. I just went over to her house. I haven't seen her in 3 months or something. 2 months, maybe not 3, 2 months. I haven't seen her. And I went over there like nothing changed. Her kids run up to me. They say, they know my name's Ashley, but they say Abigail. Abigail. That's what Ellie was saying. She's like, hi, Abigail. Lindsay's like, what did you just say? But like, you know what I mean? Like I can not be around for that long and then come around and our friendship's still the same. She doesn't have those like expectations out of me like, oh, where have you been? Oh, like we're both busy. And she knows I care. And I know she cares. You know what I mean? Like we've been friends long enough to where we understand that. But like I have some friends that don't understand. Like they just don't get it. They're, they get hurt. And I don't know. That's on that person to fix that within themselves, because I already fixed that part about me. You know what I mean? And I think as you get older too, like things change. And,
Well, there's also saying higher levels, stronger devils. Like higher levels, higher devils. Like the higher you get up, if you get through one thing and get over that level, it's just preparing you for the next more weird, complex type of thing. So
I don't know. I just think the people that are in my life are in my life, and I love them all, and they're in my life for a reason, and they know who they are. And same thing with you, Keith. Like all of your friends and stuff. No, all your friends are great, and you know what I mean? And I think that God sends people into your life like that are supposed to be there, and you make time, and even if it's once a year, it's once a year. Like, you're still blocking that time out for that person, and not saying they're not worth more than that, but like until you get to where you need to get to, like those are the sacrifices that you have to make.
There's this realization I had. Your 20s are your learning years. Your 30s are your earning years. And if you have anybody in your life that's, say, a lot older, and their time for them in their own psychology, for them, I'm not being a generalist, I'm just saying for them, maybe they're in their 60s or 70s or whatever, and has passed, and they've lost a lot of their ambitions, and they want to relax in life, and they want to chill out now and, smell all the roses. And now maybe you're in your 20s or your 30s and you're crushing it, you're getting it. You have all the energy and enthusiasm and inspiration in the world. And they want to keep they're just clinging to you and pulling you down and wanting you to do and see the world through their eyes. That type of stuff makes me angry. It's like, no, I'm in my 30s and I'm crushing it. You had your chance to crush it. Stop trying to pull me down or make me see the world the way you see it. I want you to respect and encourage me. Say, go get it. You're in your 20s. You're in your 30s. This is your time to hustle. Don't let me get in the way. Go out and crush it. I'm rooting for you. Like that type of thought is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people dog on like families that are in the spotlight and stuff. But I noticed that all of those families have healthy boundaries, and they're all super successful because of those healthy boundaries, but yet they're all very close. They're all tight knit. You know what I mean? So it's good to be close with your family. Like, I talk to my sister, my mom regularly, you know, and it's a good relationship to have. The kids hear my voice in the car. They, you know what I mean? That's like all, like they always like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm familiar because I'm always around because the voice is always in the car, or, you know, it's always on speakerphone. So they're always hearing me. So even if we don't see each other for a month or something like that, they still feel like they're close. You know what I mean? Or we still feel close because I don't even think we go a month without seeing each other, though. Maybe we see each other a couple times a month.
You're talking about us moving out to LA a lot, because we might, but can you handle that?
I could handle moving. Yeah. One of the things that was keeping me here was, you know, my grandpa, like my grandparents and stuff like that. And we've had a lot of deaths. So now it's kind of just.
I'm sorry about your grandpa.
No, it's okay.
He was a cool ass old man.
He was, man. He was so cool. He was like I love my dad, because my dad always gets butthurt when I say this, but he was like my inspiration, you know. My dad inspired me too, but my grandpa was like super inspiring, you know, like he was just a powerful man. Anyways, but yeah, no, I think a lot of our friends that live away from their family members are successful. Like a lot of them.
Yeah, the days are flying by quick.
Yeah.
So focus, hustle.
Yeah. I think healthy boundaries are where, you know, it's at.
I just had this crazy idea. So I've got this new Rodecaster Pro. It's a professional. It's like a really cool podcasting machine. You could just, anyways, you're probably not interested in that, but it has a Bluetooth function. I might be able to get Brian and Liz on the show right now via Bluetooth. I'm going to send them a text and see if they want to come on the show for a minute. It's be a special surprise. Honey.
What?
What do you think about Brian and Liz? They just had their Launchpreneur Academy last month. We went there.
They're very, very good people. I think that they are very good. What's the word? When role models. I think that they're good people to look up to and strive. The way that they do things and go about life is a good way to be, and people should look up to people like that, because everybody wants to be comfortable and successful. You know what I mean? And it takes hard work to get to that point.
Yo, look at this nice silence.
So what do you want to talk about?
Let's do a quick commercial. Hey, quick commercial. You ready?
Ready.
All right, guys. If you're looking for an awesome software, a sales automation software that you can literally plug into your website and run in the front end of your service business on your marketing that sells and closes jobs for you, you got to check out Responsibid. Responsibid. I got Responsibid on the front end of my window cleaning website, and it sells and closes window cleaning jobs for me while I'm working and doing other jobs, while I'm sleeping, while I'm on vacation. You can use it for landscaping, window cleaning, carpet washing, all types of different services. So basically the customer comes in, and you can get Responsibid, keithkalfas.com/bid, B-I-D, keithkalfas.com/bid, and you also get a discount as well. But basically, the customer comes on the website and they can get an instant bid. Say if it's window cleaning, right? They can go on and count up all their windows, and based off the pricing structure that you put on there, it does all the math for them, and then you can create a video where a video of you pops up, and then you actually talk to the customer, and you can close the job there, and they can book themselves. So you can get an email that says, "Congratulations, Bob Jones has signed up for $449 to get his windows cleaned on Wednesday the 9th at 9 a.m." And like this really happens to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. I love this program called Responsibid. And Kurt Kempton in January coming up here has a Responsicon. He's the founder of Responsibid, and it's an awesome sales and marketing software like summit where a bunch of cool entrepreneurs are going to be tons of stuff to learn. It's very powerful, and that's going to be in Phoenix, Arizona in January. So check out Responsibid. It's an awesome software. Go to keithkalfas.com/bid. Alrighty, back to the show. So
let's talk about working together, because I think a lot of couples work together.
Working together.
Yeah, let's talk about working together. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how it's going.
We do work together. We've worked together on and off, and then now it just... At first, you worked for Kalfas Professional Services. You came in 2016. I really needed help really bad. You came into the office.
Mm-hmm. I quit my job.
Yep. And then you created so much value for us. You did amazing. I loved it. But I was so scatterbrained. I was stressing you out. And then you were like, screw this, and you went back to your job. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that.
Well, because waitressing, you can make really good freaking money. And it wasn't like, I wasn't making money with you in the company, because obviously we're married. So obviously what's yours is mine.
Oh, you were on payroll.
But I was on payroll, yeah. And I think it was more of you needed me in the field, and I stopped working in the office. And
yeah, you were going out and taking pictures of window cleaning jobs, quotes, and helping. And then you actually came out that one time on that huge landscape.
No, I was coming out all the time on landscaping jobs with you. It got to the point where, like, you know what I mean? I would come and help, like, and break my nails and then leave and then have to go run around and do quotes and stuff. I don't know. It was annoying.
I never felt so loved in my life. It was like I fell in love with her all over again. You actually helped me start my landscaping business. She would come out on jobs and shovel rocks. Way back in the day when we first got started, I have these pictures I've posted on Instagram at Keith Kalfas. I love you so much. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
My clients would come out and say, she's a keeper.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, in the beginning, yeah, I would come out and we would be dripping in sweat. I remember I looked at you one time and it was so hot outside, and I give all the people that work outside credit that are like, doing this stuff, because I literally was going to puke. I go to Keith, this is hell on earth. I was about to puke, and we had went to the store and got like Gatorade and water and all this stuff, and I was literally on the verge of puking, and I had to sit in the truck the rest of the time, and you had to finish the job because it was that bad. And you guys are all like immune to it, but like me, I didn't ever experience something like that. So I was like, I felt like I was on one of those TV shows, and those TV shows when they're going through these challenges and they're puking in the trash bins. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, it was like 100 degrees out. It was really hard.
It was bad. There was mosquitoes everywhere, but no, and now that I think now we're more structured because there's more systems in place. So like, I think everything that we're doing now is based off of like systems and scheduling and stuff, because before it was just like a free for all and we weren't communicating with each other, like what exactly needed to be done. And I think just taking like a few nights out of our life to like sit down and talk about like everything that needs to get done and scheduling it out and saying, okay, Monday, this is what's going to get done, Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, and kind of just having it all organized, like this is what's getting done. So then now when new things come about, we can add things into it and it's not so crazy and we don't feel like we're, I hope I'm not like rambling.
No. Scheduling is very important, like so we know what's going on and not just everything just being at a whim. Oh, hey, honey, by the way, I'm going out of town tomorrow.
Not even like the traveling, though. I'm talking about like the little tedious stuff. You know what I mean? Like the Voxer that we use for like to use Jobber is amazing. Like whenever he does it, has a landscaping job, we're doing all of like the quotes, invoicing, everything through Jobber, and everything's organized and it's great. And we're using that. So he'll Voxer me the messages or like what needs to be done. And then I just do it. And it just works out great.
Voxer is an amazing app. I'm late to the game. I've had it for a couple of years now, but you can just download it. It's like a walkie-talkie app. You can have teams and groups. So I Voxer her everything. Like, so we have the calling center that picks up all the phone calls, and then I will do quotes and I Voxer her. I'm like, I'll screenshot the customer's info to her and send it on Voxer. She gets customer's first, last name, address, email, and then details about the job. So as I'm walking around the job, you can also shoot videos on like a private YouTube channel. And be like, John Jones needs 5 tree trims, landscaping installed, 6 bushes, this, that, front brack, estimate, next line item, 6 tons of rock, this, that, total $2,435, create a work order in Jobber, and then please send that over. And then they just all stack up, and then she'll sit down and brew a cup of coffee in the evening, and then she'll just bang them all out.
No, I do them during the day.
Oh, you're doing them during the day now at the table. Thank you so much.
You're like at the table. Yeah, because that's where he creeps on me on the Ring camera, and we have an office, but I like to, we have an office in like every room, I feel like every room's an office at the Kalfas house, but we have like an actual office. And I don't really like to work in there. I don't know. I'll go in there if I have to like print something. But the dining room table is like awesome. It's like a high top. You just feel awake, you know? Like when you sit down, you just feel like you're like, all right, I can conquer the world and get everything that I need to get done. And feel good about it, you know? I feel like at the computer desk, it's like low and it's like, bleh. You can just get too comfy and tired and sit for too long and bleh.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Like we finally got our first home. We had a condo before this. The condo was pretty nice, and then we had like a crappy little apartment. The inside was nice, but I've been grinding and hustling forever, and the feng shui thing makes so much sense. Like if you invest in a nice comfy couch or a table, like, and have things that are just tables and chairs in a comfortable environment so you can work, to eliminate friction, it allows you to get more done.
Mm-hmm. Like you have to feel comfortable. Like, well, I'm a creature of comfort. So like, and I have OCD, but that's a whole nother conversation. But, you know, the creature of comfort thing, I feel more successful if I'm organized, things are clean, and I can sit down with nothing in the back of my head going, oh, you need to do this, or, you know, oh, if you look at something, I don't know. I don't know if it's like an OCD type of thing, but like I like things to like look good, like cosmetically, like in my home. So like it has to like cosmetically appeal, and if it doesn't, I'm doing everything I can to change it. So I think when we first moved in, we got everything like how we wanted it to be, and now we're at this place where we're comfy and we can like move forward. But it took a minute for us to like get settled into the house, you know. Plus it's my sister's house, so we had to like de-banish it and Kalfify it. Did I just add a new word to the dictionary? Kalfify?
That was weird, like the first couple months living here, especially when your sister and
Matt would come over.
They would come over. I was like, the first holiday was 4th of July. We had a party over here, and the parties
they usually have it.
So I was like, I felt so weird. Like, oh my God. Like,
I felt like it was their party.
Yeah, and I was like, because my brother-in-law.
But we paid for it.
Yeah, my brother-in-law works at Quicken Loans, and he's a real smart guy. And so our closing process went really fast. We closed this whole house in like 11 days.
Mm-hmm. It was freakishly fast because it had to get done. That's why.
So like, I was like, dude, it's weird. Like, it's a smart investment. We know everything about this house. Like, you guys they're like OCD perfectionist type people, and everything was, we just know everything going on with the house, and it was so weird. We looked at like 80 houses, and this is...
My brother's done the heating and cooling on the house. He's done the garbage disposal. He knows all the units. Like we've known everything that's happened to the house. Like we just know. Like, and it was kept up very, very, very well, very well. And we're very blessed to buy this house, because I remember when they put it on the market, she was like, we're selling our house. You guys want to buy it? I was like, it's out of our price range, And then it just so happened that all of that stuff happened, and then they were trying to close on the house, and then the other buyer that was buying this house fell through at the last minute, and she's like, listen, we'll sell it to you for this, and you got to close by this date. And we're like, all right, we'll do it, because we were looking at houses for the same price that needed total guts, like needed to be gutted. The kitchens were from 1950. The bathrooms were from 1950. They might have like painted the walls and like refinished the floors.
Nice now.
But
hey, Brian and Liz, they said they're going to come on the show. Let's see if this is going to work. Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Keith?
Oh, we got Brian Fullerton. Yeah.
hey,
What's up, brother?
Hey, are you on speakerphone?
Hey.
Liz is here too?
Yeah.
Can you hear us clear?
Yeah, you guys sound great.
Awesome. We're on the Untrapped podcast right now. We were just talking about you guys, Ashley and I. We're talking about you guys and how you're great role models and how you're really good people.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought we'd have you on the show for 5 minutes.
Wow, thank you. That's really cool. I think I owe you $20 for saying all these nice things about me.
Nice.
That's awesome, man. Well, what's the topic, or what are you guys talking about, man?
Well, it was crazy. At the beginning of the show, we were talking about entrepreneur life, being married, and the ups and downs, how things can get really tough, and communication is important. And we went to a couple dark places, but it's weird because we're over a lot of that now, and we've elevated out of that. Like the podcast just moved on, and now we're talking about all types of cool stuff. And
working together and
being structured and being on the same page. So that's what we want to ask you in this 5 minutes real quick is, were you guys ever not on the same page, or how do you go about being on the same page? How do you communicate with each other? Do you have a date night? Like, what do you do so you're on the same page?
That is a really good question. So
we actually do a thing called our board of directors meetings every Sunday, where we get together sometimes for like 15 minutes or like up to an hour. But it's something we put on our calendar every week, to where we can sit down with our calendars in front of us, with our notepads from how things have gone throughout the week. And it helps us kind of recalibrate, get ready for the next week, and stay on the same page.
So what night is it that?
Yeah, we do that on Sunday night. So we call it our board of directors meeting. And basically, it's just a good way for us to like regroup once a week, be on the same page, and then also kind of take a glance at how the week is looking for next week as well. And usually I just listen to Liz. She tells me where I need to be.
So give me an example of the conversation. Are you sitting eating dinner and you're like, oh, so it's our board of directors meeting. Do you pull out your calendar?
does an alarm go off? Like, what happens?
That's funny. So actually, yeah, like honestly, we schedule it every Sunday. Usually it's about 4:00. And it's not like we go to dinner. It's not like hangout time. It's like we put our business owner hats on, and we schedule, half hour to an hour. And you want to chip in?
Yeah, I think a lot of couples get it confused when you talk about communication, and especially as like a business owner couple. It's not an excuse for a date night for us. We sit down. Usually it's at our own table at home, unless we're out of town, where there's no distractions. It's just us. And it is something that we put in our calendars on our phone, just like we would, an appointment with another business owner or what have you. Like it's definitely not like a marriage meeting. It's much more business than relationship.
Usually the conversation's orbiting whatever we're trying to accomplish, right? So in the upcoming week or month, what are some of the big projects that we're looking to tackle? Like I might have some stuff running a YouTube channel that I want to accomplish, maybe some of our personal goals with our personal business. Liz has stuff with her blog and, our second YouTube channel. And so basically, like, the idea is that we've all heard that it's hard to focus for a year, right? It's hard to focus for a month. But the idea is that if you can focus for 7 days, I think anybody can stay focused for about a week, right? And the theory is that if you string enough good weeks together, you have a good month. If you string enough good months together, you have a good quarter. And we all know if you have 4 good quarters, you have a good year. So it's just funny when you start looking at your life like it's a business, because you run businesses. we start to do what real businesses do. And real businesses have budgets. Real businesses have schedules. They have, content calendars. They have goals that they need to accomplish. And here's another one. Real companies, they have metrics. They measure things, right? So we try to measure things. Now, we're not like, wearing 3-piece suits to the meeting. We might be eating a bag of Cheetos and kind of hanging out while we're talking. But, we always try to tackle the top 2 or 3 things for us on our calendar week to week. And then really, I'm a big one thing kind of guy. Like, what's the one thing that if this next 7 days goes by, what's the one thing that's got to get done, right? Because we all know if you got more than 3 things on your list, the chances of them getting done after that number are pretty slim to none. So always start with the number one thing, the big thing, what's gonna move the needle forward the most. So that's something that we've done for quite a while, and it doesn't have to be on Sunday night, but that's just what seems to be the best workflow day in the week for us.
Yeah.
Awesome. And as you're talking right now, I am looking on YouTube at Fullerton Party of 2, your guys' YouTube channel. The first one, Brian's Lawn Maintenance, you're about to hit 80,000 subscribers. Congratulations. Your guys' live event, the Entrepreneur Academy, last month was phenomenal. But your family YouTube channel, Fullerton Party of 2, I see the latest video upload, our board of directors meeting, running our life like a business. I just subscribed and commented. I'm already subscribed here. I see B&B Lawn Care just commented because they're about to have twins, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Any minute, I think.
Oh yeah, he posted a picture on Facebook or Instagram. Yeah, they're about to. That's crazy. That's
exciting, though. I'm good for them. Like that, this is going to be a new chapter for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they got twins coming. I mean, like Natalie's literally been pregnant for 18 months. So you guys know how that works.
That's amazing.
We're still learning ourselves. So.
She's so little too. So like oh my gosh, poor thing. She's probably ready for it to be over.
Yeah, for sure. So do you guys, can I play devil's advocate? Do you guys get together yourselves? What's worked best for you guys? Because people think, sometimes other people have it all figured out, and we don't by any means. We figured out what works for us. But I know you guys, right, on Tuesday nights, shut it down and have a date night, which is, I think, critical, especially, I mean, if you can't do it every week, do it every other week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you guys, I know personally, like, as a friend and then just as a businessman, like, to not bother Keith on Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've like been like, oh my God, I got to call Keith for something about my training company or, I don't know, some fascinating new thing on YouTube that's going to like change my life, right? But I got to remember like to respect his schedule too and not call in between, 6 and 9 on Tuesday night, because I know that you guys are growing your relationship together.
Yeah, I think that's super important is recognizing that there's a time for business and then there's a time for your relationship and your marriage too. And they aren't one and the same. You can spend an entire week working side by side on a project, but not spend any time in your actual marriage. And it's vital to your relationship and to the health of your marriage, and honestly to the health of your business too, to be unified in your marriage first and foremost before moving forward with anything business.
Yeah. Do you guys do anything outside of your Tuesday night date nights to get on the same page? If you guys are, while we're on this topic of
yes, we don't have it all figured out.
Yeah, we don't have it all
Sundays,
figured out.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Every single Sunday night, is it 6 or 8 p.m., both of our calendar notifications go off. Our Google Calendar is set for every Sunday night until forever. It's a meeting, kind of like a board of directors meeting like you have that her and I have, but we rarely ever have the meeting, and it goes off on our phones and we ignore it because we haven't made it an official thing.
That's awesome. See, success leaves clues. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple Sunday nights, so
I want to make it official now.
Every Sunday. But we always because we talk about stuff all throughout the whole week. So it's like Sunday, like we do talk about stuff, but yeah, we should be sitting at the table or actually
making it official.
Yes, like official.
We're going to do this.
Yeah, because that just inspired me what you guys just said, like how you guys do it. So
one thing that's a little different that we've found. So imagine this. Imagine if you're working for a big company working for IBM or Microsoft or Amazon or Tesla, right? Like if you don't hit your goals or what you say you're going to do too, in corporate America, there's ramifications. Like you can lose your job or not get eligible for promotion, right? And so one thing that works for us, because we're both type A drivers personalities, is that there's like some accountability.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you said, and this is like Liz said, like we're husband and wife first, right? But we're also business owners. And there's a lot of times where we might have different levels of volume conversation. We might have some, not fights or arguments or anything, but it's not like we're calling each other out. But it kind of is. But
you have to, I think in those situations, like you take your marriage hat off and you look at each other as like business partners rather than like husband and wife. So your feelings kind of get more taken out of the equation as like a spouse. So it is kind of a time to call each other out and say like, hey, we wanted
if you need to.
You know,
you never have to call me out.
No, never.
Because I'm always
that.
I'm 100%. and I've never called you out, right?
No, never.
Mrs. You said you were going to have your About Me finished on your blog, right? Or your or whatever else is going on, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, wait a minute, weren't you watching Netflix the other day? Hey, wait a minute, didn't you make it to the gym 5 days this week, but you didn't finish your whatever project?
Yeah, you really have to keep like a spirit of offense like in check during our meetings. But I also use it as a time too. Like we move so fast, like I'm sure you guys do, where, you know, I'm responsible for certain things in our household and Brian's responsible for other things. And, you know, I try my best, and he does too, to not nag or point stuff out during the week, because that's go time. It's game on, you know, Monday through Friday for us. And, you know, if I can make notes along the way of things that come to my attention that need taken care of that I need to communicate to Brian about, I try not to bring them up, you know, when I know that he's got a jam-packed day full of, you know, whatever cleanups or what have you. And I wait until Sunday. So I'll have a list in front of me of things that I want to talk about, but
we have our calendar too.
Yeah, didn't really have a time and place to talk about it during the week. And it negated a lot of like what some would consider like nagging about things throughout the week, because it's not a focus for him at the time, but it doesn't mean it's not a priority that needs to be taken care of. It's just finding the correct time to address those things has been huge for us. And a lot of that's done on Sundays at our meetings. Yeah.
I think if I can add one last thought that I thought was really cool. I heard this from somebody else. They said that they run their family like a family farm. Because like, you know, back in the 1800s, everybody had a job, everybody had a role on the farm, even the kids, right? And, you know, kid 8 years old, he knows to be out there at 5:15 in the morning before that sun's up, milking the cows or, you know, getting the horses ready or whatever people who own farms do, right? Or city people. But the bottom line is that everybody on the farm has a role. Everybody has a job. And so this is a great time as well. Liz and I are already, you know, when we're planning to have a family, like we're going to include our kids in these conversations. You know, these are things where the family has goals. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I want to make sure I know my kids' goals. I want to know I have my kids' schedule in my mind as well. And that allows me to plan the week. So I think the bottom line, the bigger takeaway is that if you want to have a more successful business or marriage or just have more happiness and fulfillment, I think for me personally, it just comes down to more communication. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you doing and what are you trying to accomplish? Mm-hmm. Like, if I don't know what's important to Liz, I can't prioritize it. And if Liz doesn't know that something's like stressing me out or I need backup or I need something taken off my plate, like this is a great time, at least once a week, in my opinion, to get organized and get on the same page.
A lot of communication is just managing like expectations too, you know, letting people know where you're at, like where you're trying to go. If, you know, I can't expect Brian to know that something was a priority of mine if I never communicated it, and he can't fit everything in and get mad at me, you know, about having a packed schedule if he doesn't set the expectation that that's how our week's going to be. So, yeah.
Nice. You guys are on a higher frequency. I love it. I'm trying to sneak an Instagram story clip in right now, and it keeps saying that recording is too short. Is there an update to Instagram over the past 24 hours? It won't let you take little micro clips on stories? Sorry, I know that was totally left field.
I don't know. They're always
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I listened to everything that you said, and then the last
He's like, let me be
15
random.
seconds, I tried to like promote this on Instagram in real time. I pulled a Keith.
He feathered.
Sorry.
Well, they need to subscribe to the podcast and re-listen to it because I know when this goes out, make sure you link me so I can re-listen to what I said because I know it's good stuff, but like we got to remember it. You know, like it's not just the saying; it's the doing, right? It's the you know, everybody's got a lot of head knowledge, but it's like if you're not actually executing, it's just idle words. But
I think
again, we don't have it all figured out. But
yeah. I mean, I think that we're always going to be learning like our whole entire lives, you know what I mean? But I think, the executing is where it's at because I personally have like learned a lot of things along the way, but I didn't execute it like right away. Like I would talk a lot and like go around it a lot, but I didn't execute it all right away. And little by little, when I started executing things, like our relationship got better, our businesses got better, like everything got better. So
it is really weird having a service business out in the field, but also having a home-based business to where you're at home, but you're in work mode while you're at home. So like Ashley I could be like exhausted taking a nap, but Ashley's in the other room working. And then later on, she's laying on the couch watching something on YouTube about the Egyptian pyramids because she loves that stuff. And then like I'm in the basement hustling and working, and it goes back and forth. Like, how do you guys deal with that when the switches are being turned on and off? Do you know what I'm talking about?
We're literally in the exact same boat. Like there's times where Liz will come in and she'll like sashay in at like 10 a.m. and I'm like, she's in like pajamas or something, and she's drinking her coffee. And she like knocks on the door, like opens up, and she's like, "Hey, can I show you this really cool post on Instagram?" Or, "Hey, do you want to hear this new, like, you know, see this new TikTok meme or GIF?" And I'm like, I'm literally working right now. Like,
it's something that we really had to kind of like learn and adapt.
Yell at each other about?
Because I was that kid in school that always got separated, you know, from who they were sitting next to. It didn't matter like who you put me next to. Like I would make a friend and have a conversation and distract everybody around me. I was terrible. And it's really difficult, you know, like when you work from home and your best friend also happens to be home with you. Like it for me, that's something I struggle with. So having a designated like working area for us has been huge. You know, when we lived in like our 1-bedroom apartment, we made a corner. We divided up our living room into fourths. And one of those fourths was like the working zone. And if somebody was in there, you had to pretend like they weren't even there. If there was no physical door to close.
Yeah, I would say that all the time. Like, I'm not here. like I'm not here right now. And like, you know, like, if I say this, I sound like a jerk, but I'm like, leave me alone. Like, and I know I sound like a dick, you know, but it's like, leave me alone. I'm not here. Go away.
But you would really have to tell me that.
But I would literally be like, I'm not here. Like, if this work doesn't get done, my company doesn't grow today. And she's like, I know, but like, why can't we just like watch Netflix and eat popcorn and like hang out? I'm like, it's 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. I have to work. And she's, and, you know, other times on the other end of the spectrum, I'm exhausted by 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and I come home, and Liz is 100% a night owl. Like, it's not even funny. She's a 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. person. I'm a 6 a.m. to, 7, 8 p.m. and then leave me alone after 9 or 10. And I'll like kind of putz through the rest of the night. And I'm still productive late night, but I'm done by about 10 or 11 o'clock.
I'm just getting going by like 6.
Yeah. And at like 9 o'clock at night, I'm like exhausted, like about to like roll over into bed at 10:30. And Liz is like, all right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. And I'm like, no. Or the other way around, I start bugging her, I kind of like start like, nudging the knee, right, Keith? And I'm like, hey. And she's like, get away from me. And I'm like, hey. And she's like, no. And I'm like, come on. And she's like, I'm working on my blog. I'm like, please. Like,
I think like setting like
I don't think the viewers have any
like
idea.
reasonable expectations for us like is we work in like a couple hour spurts too. So it's very rare that like we'll work for like 7-hour stretch at a time without at least taking an hour to get lunch together
that's true.
when possible.
We really don't work longer than like 2 hours at a time.
Yeah, but we might have like a 12-hour day. It's just split up, you know, a little bit differently, and communicating that to one another. Like, hey, just so you know, I have a conference call scheduled at 1:00. I'm going to be in the bedroom. Like, don't bug me. Okay, that's now on my calendar. I'm aware of what's going on. So, you know, it goes back to kind of communication too.
I think you just got to know your spouse. It takes time.
Because it's going to be different for everybody, and it took us. I mean, we're still figuring it out.
I mean, there's times where, like, dude, like, you'll just, like, barge into the room, and I'm like, leave me alone. Like, leave, like, because I want to focus on my wife, right, Keith? And, like, my productivity goes, like, instantly zero, because I do want to pay attention, because I am a workaholic. So I'm like, I do want to see this new awesome TikTok that if I don't watch it, that my life will be unfulfilled. So I do want to see this new girl, you know, dancing to some new song, some new dance that I have to learn with you in the kitchen right now at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. And I'm like, how are we paying our bills? No, I'm just kidding. But, so
you sound so much like Keith. Like, so much he does the same thing. We were just talking about how he was telling me to like go away.
Well, you know what's funny is my wife will be in the room doing her business, and I've actually barged into the room before because I had this crazy idea that was I'm fully immersed in what I'm doing, and I'll run into the room. Oh my god, honey, and I'll have this, and I've stopped myself and gone, oh shit, you're working on your business right now, and I'll just like,
because he'll make me sew a crooked line and stuff, and I'll be like, damn it, and then my
god.
And then she's come up to me before with some crazy like idea or whatever's going on in her head when I'm fully immersed working on my book. And then it's crazy. Like, when you become aware of it is the first key.
Gotten better, though. We have gotten better with giving each other space.
Yeah. It's, do you guys have like an office? Or, I mean, I know Keith's got the at least I think a lot of Keith's work is in the basement, right? But like, do you like put on like a sign on the door that says like working, we'll be back at 4? Like,
well, it's crazy because we didn't start like working together now until like we moved into the new house. So like we started to really like branch out into that again when we moved here. So he yeah, I always had my own room and he always had his own room to like do everything. We always had to keep everything separate because there was no way we would be able to like work. I mean, we worked next to each other when we were at the office. Like we had like a physical office and we worked a lot next to each other then. But that was him kind of like showing me the ropes of like all of the programs and like everything that needs to get done and like, just all of that stuff. So
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, there's times at night, like, don't get me wrong, Liz and I are like, when you're self-employed, it is not uncommon for us to both be working our businesses from like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she'll be on the laptop, I'll be on my laptop. We won't say anything to each other for an hour and a half. And, she'll slap the laptop closed and she goes, I just got so much work done. Ugh, I'm so excited. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. And then like, same thing, like I just wrapped up making a YouTube video or doing my end of month billing for my lawn business. And I get to shut the laptop down. And that's always like really fun. Like just Liz and I are just like, a lot of people that know us in person, like in real life, like know that Liz and I really enjoy spending time together, like just physically being near each other.
Mm-hmm.
And like to us, that like fills our love tank. Like we enjoy being together. And so I wouldn't say like we overdo it with work. In fact, we're like work hard people and then play hard people for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody just has to figure out what works best for them. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. But again, you're never, in my opinion, never going to find out what works best for each other until you start like having way different conversations than just being swoon in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to be like, all right, how does this person work? What's my personality type? What's my workflow like? Are you a morning person? Are you a night owl person? Do you like accountability? Do you hate accountability? Are you an autonomous worker or are you a team worker? Like when you go to work out, do you like a personal trainer or do you like classes? Like everybody is different. And so
I think like stuff like this where, you know, you're associating with other couples has really helped us kind of fine tune our processes more and learn how to work better together, because you don't know what you don't know. And unless you associate with other people who are, you know, trying to go where you're going,
I'll be business owners.
Yeah, it, you know, it really opens you up to, you know, just learn more about each other and how to work better together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Entrepreneurs have, what were you going to say?
No, I said it's totally fun. It's totally a different dynamic than, like you were just saying, couples working 9 to 5.
Yeah.
What I was thinking.
Yep. That's exactly where I was going. It's totally different dynamic. Like we weren't entrepreneurs when we first started dating, and when we got married, Heath was just starting his business. So like, I feel like, you know, if I would have met him and he was already an entrepreneur, like it would have been like, I would have been more used to it. But the fact that we were 9 to 5ers and then kind of converted into being entrepreneurs, like, and he became one before me, that's why I was still kind of stuck behind not really understanding him. And like, that's why our relationship was really rocky, because I wasn't on the same page as him. And I think when I got on the same page, I was like, oh my God. And it like opened up my eyes, and I really started to understand like why he was the way he was, you know. But he had to change some things too and put things aside, like, and make sure he spent time with me, because there was a lot of times I felt alone. And
oh yeah.
You know, the date night thing really helped. Like, I think that was like one of the top things in our relationship, was picking that one night to hang out with each other. Like that really, really helped us a lot.
I think that's huge. I don't think there's enough of that going on. Like everybody's so like excited about. See, here's the thing. I talked about this on a YouTube video recently, and we don't have it all figured out, like I said, but we do have it figured out for us. And we're learning every day. But entrepreneurship, it never ends. Like it's a never ending life cycle, like lifestyle. Like it's literally, when you're self-employed, your brain doesn't turn off, your calendar doesn't turn off. Like you just want to go if you're really excited and really passionate about something, right? And when you're working 9 to 5, it's like, even if you're excited about your job, arguably you turn it off at 5 o'clock, you know? And I think the interesting thing is, because it is always go, like you have to put like your vacation in your calendar first, your date nights in with your calendar first, your spend time with your kids first. And if you have 365 days, let's say, and you have, you know, 300 or 250 left over, okay, do your best to work in those days as well. But like, you can't sacrifice the things that are most important to you, like your family, like your health.
Yeah. I will say, like, it sounds counterintuitive to, like, you know, you're saying if you have these big goals that you're trying to achieve and places you're trying to get to in business and stuff, to then say that you're going to plan your calendar around your vacations. Like, that kind of doesn't make sense. You're like, but wait, I thought you were going to go out and hustle and crush it, right? But what we found is, if you make time for those things, like the really important things like family, your relationship, time for yourself to go and rest and, you know, kind of recover from stuff, it really allows you to maximize the time that you do set aside to work in your business. It allows you to be way more effective as a business owner and an entrepreneur, because you're not as run down as you would be if you're, you know, just fitting in date nights and things like that when you can. Because, you know, when that happens, it doesn't.
It's pushed back.
Yeah.
Forever.
So we've actually found it to be more effective, and it allows us to go further and push harder, putting our vacation time and our relationship time and our date nights first into our calendar and fitting in work time around that. Because then, you know, well, if I only have 6 hours to get everything done today because I scheduled a date night tonight, you're going to work your butt off for that 6 hours, and it's probably going to be more productive than it was if you had, you know, 12 and you were just going to figure out date night, you know, when you could.
Well, you know, and by the way, we say this all through a grain of salt. We don't have kids. we don't have any like ailing or sick, relatives or parents, and so we don't have 8 times as much going on like you guys do compared to us with 5 YouTube channels and podcasts and he's a world renowned speaker and highly requested speaker. Nobody's invited me to speak anywhere.
5 animals.
Kalfas worldwide, and I think people pay me to not speak on stages. They're like, hey, this guy talks too much, so they're like, we'll pay you to not come. But so again, we don't have it all figured out. I think we've hit the nail on the head for what works with us. I think it just comes down to being a little bit more organized, a little bit more communication. Because here's the reality: in corporate America, they demand it. And when you become self-employed, here's what last thing I'll say. If people can remember anything from this episode, at least from anything that Liz and I had to share, or at least from what I had to contribute, like everybody is trying to, everybody's trying to do like everything, and the reality is like, you got to probably do a little bit less. You need to focus. You need to prioritize the things that are the most important things in your life. And for me, it's like, it's my relationship. Like, it doesn't make it, if I gain everything, but I lose my wife or my calling along the way, like it's all for naught, so chase the material things for sure.
Amen.
But, I mean, that's how I try to filter everything. And Liz said a really good point. Like, if you don't make certain things a priority in your life, then either A, they're not a priority, or B, like, you're going to lose that thing. You're going to lose that time to watch your kids play baseball. You're going to lose that time to spend time with your mom or your dad or your brother, and all on the altar of success. And it's tough because you hear one motivational guru says 16 hours a day, 7 days a week until you're, uber successful. And it's like, that's fine. I get it. I totally get it. I totally do. But you can have both. You can, if you know how to keep going and be effective and be productive, then you can make sure that the things that matter most to you can still get done. I'm a big proponent that like people are like, I'm 100% all or nothing. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, when's the last time you gave 100% to anything in your life? And I'm not being like a dick or cocky. I'm just saying, the only people I know that have given 100% of everything to something are like Olympic athletes. Okay, but for basically the other 19.8 million people in America, I'm not saying we can't perform at that level. It's just like, dude, don't make a head fake. Like, prioritize the things that are important to you, and your family better be in there. Your spiritual walk better be in there. Because if not, like, those are the things that ground you. Oh.
Yeah, and like, we're not like against the hustle, like, at all.
I love
but
the hustle.
I think people get confused because they hustle so much they forget why they started in the first place, and then it becomes they're just chasing the hustle because that's what you're supposed to do, not because of what it provides you with. And yeah,
like it's like I remember Tony Robbins doing a speech once. He's like, how much money do you want to make? And somebody was like, $1 billion. Like, $1 billion. The guy's like, yeah, $1 billion. He's like, man, that's a lot. He goes, what would you buy? He goes, I'd buy a jet. And Tony Robbins is like, okay, well, the jet's like $50 million. He goes, yeah, I'd buy a jet. He goes, okay, you like cars? Oh, I love cars. How many cars would you buy? Oh, I'd get like, 2 Lamborghinis, a Ferrari, and a Rolls Royce. Right? So basically, like, Tony Robbins priced out this guy's whole dream. And like, the dream was basically like, $80 million. And Tony Robbins like, $80 million, you can hit that in the next 10, 20, 30 years. That's not a big deal. But it was like such an abstract thing. And so like, the guy was like not taking care of anything else that was important to him or should be important to him, all in the name of like becoming successful. And it's like, what I'm trying to say is like, everybody has this like abstract thought. Mm-hmm. So I think Liz and I's goal is not to make $80 million. I know what we need to make to live the lifestyle we want to live. And I can, prioritize my wife, prioritize my mom, prioritize my family. There hasn't been a single person that knows me, that called me, that I've not picked up the phone to. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I couldn't do that if I'm just always going. Is it true?
Yeah.
Mom, dad, aunts, uncles, fans, certain people we network with.
Absolutely.
There's never been a time Keith's call I've not picked up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, arguably. So it doesn't mean I got all the time in the world either, but I care about people. So.
But you also have healthy boundaries in place too with those people, and those people respect your boundaries because you've conditioned them to respect those boundaries.
Totally. 100%. Yeah, and in fact, yeah, I mean, that's a whole other story. Like, we've had to condition our family.
Really, we have.
Sounds
It's
weird.
Kind of like rude almost, but not really, because like we want to give them our attention, but we want to give them, going to be able to be in a position where we're giving them undivided attention. And so we've had to have conversations, you know, with like our moms specifically, and say, you know, after this certain time at night, I'm all yours, like all ears. Like, you want to call me up, this is when I'm free, but you cannot, unless it's an emergency, like contact me before, you know, 5 o'clock at night or what have you. And it changes. And, you know, we communicate with them regularly about like what our life is looking like too, because they're involved in our businesses as much as we are to some extent, because, you know, it is a family business and pretty much everybody is involved, I think,
at this level.
Yeah.
No hiding it.
Yeah. So, but there are, like you said, healthy boundaries where we go over realistic expectations about the season that we're in. And we do it because we want to love them the best that we can.
And always make sure that they feel it.
As well as we could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this good stuff for you guys? Hopefully.
Oh, it's great.
Amazing.
So, funny story. We literally, about a half hour, 36 minutes ago, just got done playing Uno with my brother and his wife. So, like, you know, for people, like, here's the bottom line, man. Like, our family's a priority for us. Like, right now, you know, in this phase of our life. Like, we like spending time with our family, for sure. And I guarantee you, like, I'm not any more busy, although I probably am, but I'm not any less busy either. You know, and we can find time for everybody and everything. And I don't know. I think you can't figure it all out in, you know, one podcast. You can't figure it all out in one motivational talk from Les Brown or, you know, E.T. or Tony Robbins, right? Like, it takes time.
Yep.
But again, here's the last thing I'll say is, like, I can't figure it all out for you. Like, I cannot tell everybody all the secrets, all the answers, right? Like, you have to go on a mission, figure out where the holes in your life are, figure out the best systems to, like, fix that, and, like, pursue it on your own time, at your own speed. But for me, I had so many holes in my life that I was unbalanced, crazy, trying to figure out how to become successful. And I mean, like, in my marriage, in my finances, in businesses. And I figured out what works best for me. Like, I don't have it all figured out, but I have a really good foundation for myself. And that's what I encourage people, like, where do you get started with this stuff? Like, you know, books, CDs, mentorship, conferences, seminars, podcasts, like for sure. And by the way, like, you know, a secret is re-listen to podcasts. Like, I've heard many people say it takes like 4 to 7 times to listen to something for it to even start penetrating into the subconscious mind, which is where you need it to go for it to even start doing anything. Like somebody saying, well, you know, I took care of like the topical issue. Like, that's not even the real issue. You know, it's the iceberg analogy. Mm-hmm. So, no, this is fun. This is fun for us, man. Like, I first off, like, Liz and I, we super appreciate you guys.
Yeah, the fact that, like, we're on, like, a Kalfas.
The Untrapped podcast. I was on one with Keith last summer. I was in his studio at his house, and, like, I looked so cool as a cucumber, but I was so, like, nervous, because, like, I don't know what Keith was going to ask, because, like, he, like, operates at a different wavelength, you know?
Really does.
He really does. And, like, he has, like, such thoughtful replies. and I think literally, like, Ashley came and, like, broke it up after 45 minutes, because she probably thought, like, Keith was, like, asking me too intensive questions, you know? Like, she's probably like, Brian, you know, she was a good host. She's like, you need a glass of water or a Gatorade or a window, you know, to, like, escape. And I was like, I'm like, no, man, like, I don't keep it intense, but I like it. Like, and I think we went for probably a good half hour, 45 minutes, but So we appreciate you guys big time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But
well, we appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you.
I think it's like, we kind of touched on earlier, like the association, like it's, for the same reason people go to church or, join clubs and, things that they're trying to improve on or that interest them. You have to get around like-minded people because you can't do it all on your own. And we appreciate you guys so much, just knowing that there's another couple kind of in our area. But honestly, you guys could be across the country. I don't care. Like, just to know that you can kind of lock arms together and you're not alone because, being self-employed and even in a marriage, like it can be isolating because, it's not just you, it's your spouse, but that's it. That's all you got is, so.
Wait a minute. That's all you got. What about me? I'm chopped liver, Ashley.
No.
She says I still got work to do.
No,
I totally get it.
Well,
I do.
You guys are awesome, man. What was the topic of the podcast when you guys started?
Oh man, it was marriage, entrepreneurship, working together, business, just random Kalfas podcast.
You guys can title it "How to Not Kill Your Spouse in Entrepreneurship."
Yeah, yeah, because there was times in the beginning of our relationship where we were like, we hated each other at one point. Like,
that's funny.
I know hate's a strong word, but we really, really didn't get along for a minute.
We've never had a fight.
No, never. I think if anybody, like, I don't trust people that tell me, like, oh, we've never had an argument in our marriage. I'm like, then one of you is either really, really weak sauce or you're lying. Like, because I don't understand how you don't
honestly
get through this whole thing without having, like, disagreements and, going through the rough times. Like, and I honestly really have come to appreciate those rough times because we wouldn't have the deepness of the relationship that we have now without them.
I would say, and I've heard this from somebody else, but you have to have the sweet or the sour to enjoy the sweet.
I'm pretty sure you got that from the Sour Patch Kids.
No, I didn't. Get away from me. You know what?
That's what the Sour Patch Kids are.
Right now. Yeah, we might have a fight right now. Okay. It's been 42 minutes and we haven't had a fight. In fact, we need to get going so we can have a fight.
Look, we're starting fights now. No.
It's been an hour. We haven't had our regular tiff.
Now, did you guys notice though, like as like your relationship like has like bloomed into this, and you guys have like worked together and became these entrepreneurs together? Have you noticed that like your now I'm losing train of thought because Keith has got the camera in my face. Did you?
So you're more on the same page, or?
That your fights got less severe as now that you guys are like on the same page,
yeah, I'll here. I got a really good response for you. Yeah, check this out. I know it's like measurable. When Liz and I, usually Wednesday, Thursday, we'll have a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like
clockwork. It's so weird.
Swear to God.
It's so weird.
Sunday we're on the same page. Monday, Tuesday we're working together. Wednesday, Thursday, life hits you, the world hits you, you're tired, and you're not on the same page as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. And I know, I'm sure somebody else is listening to this nodding along, but like, I know that when Liz and I are both fighting each other, it's because we're not fighting against our goal together to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. He stopped like in the middle of an argument.
I'm like, why are we fighting?
Why are we fighting right now? Like, obviously, like we haven't.
Like, I love you. I care about you.
Yeah.
We didn't wake up this morning thinking about fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to fight? Did you wake up at 8 a.m. saying, I'm going to fight with my husband today at 5:15?
Right.
Like, I didn't. And I go, okay, so what's changed? Like, what's the variable? Well, we both haven't seen each other for 7 hours. It's been 3 days. We're working our butts off. Dude, we do work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that when you don't have a common vision, that you can get really distracted.
Yeah.
And I've heard somebody say a vision isn't like another term for a vision isn't people think vision, they think like goals or dreams or like where we want to be in 5 years. I've heard somebody say vision is discipline. Like vision is actually having constraint and self-control and self-discipline. And it's a different way of looking at vision because you're disciplined, you're determined. And I was like, what? What does that even mean? But it's true. Like a vision that you're trying to accomplish and work towards takes maturity. And, you know, people who are mature aren't bickering and fighting, you know, and my gosh, like in today's world, there's so little real pressure on people. Everybody thinks they're under pressure, but realistically, nobody's, generally speaking, probably listening to this podcast, you know, going into, you know, immediate bankruptcy, they're not eating, they don't have shelter, like just really fundamentals, right? So like, if you're starting to bicker, fight, whine, complain, like I really encourage you to like check your, I don't say entitlement attitude, but like get perspective.
Yeah.
It could be so much worse.
I will say too, like the past few years at the GIE specifically, I've had quite a few like husbands and boyfriends and significant others come up to me and ask how they can get their wife, girlfriend, what have you, more excited about their business. And I always think it's really interesting that they're asking this question, but yet their girlfriend, wife, whatever, isn't even there. Like, to me, I think I noticed a really big change and pivot in our relationship and our businesses. Like, the more I got involved with it, the more I was excited about it. And I know it was really hard for Brian at first to kind of like let go of stuff because he had owned the business for several years before we had even met. So here I am, this girl who, you know, we just gotten married and stuff, who's like asking to become involved in his business. And he's like, I don't know, it sounds really scary. But
I'll let you marry me, but I'm not giving you half of the business.
Yep.
Genius.
Doesn't work. So I think one of the biggest secrets to like our success with that and getting excited and getting on the same page is becoming more involved and him entrusting me with the business. And, you know, I've always been kind of more of like a cheerleader type personality anyway. So as soon as he allowed me in, I was so enthusiastic and excited just to be involved. He could have been a garbage man. I don't care. I was going to be proud of him and excited about what he was doing anyway, but he needed to give over some of that to me to feel involved with to begin, you know, anything.
I like it. What's your, give them a parting thought. Like, what's your favorite marriage book that can help people?
Love and Respect. Hands down, Love and Respect.
Love and Respect.
Mm-hmm.
What about...
Who's the author of that one, though?
Gary...
No.
Is that his attorney?
That's Five Love Languages, Dr. Chapman. But Liz can look it up really quick. Love and Respect is a really good marriage book. His Needs, Her Needs, Love and Respect. I think for guys, Wild at Heart, Tender Warrior, Point Man, all really good books. Talk about leading your family. I just personally noticed as a guy that if my wife's fighting with me, it's probably because I'm not leading her correctly and charging the hill. Like I'm doing stupid stuff, or I'm being lazy, or I have a bad attitude. Right? That can stem from a lot of it.
Yeah, Love and Respect talks about how men have an innate need, not a want, a need to be respected by their spouse to have a successful relationship, and women similarly need to feel love,
Affection.
And affection. And it's by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. I don't know how you can pronounce that.
It's red and white. It's like it's the most like popular marriage book.
But it is for a reason. And honestly, like, you know, we had talked about how
crazy cycle.
You need to listen to a podcast more than once to really distill all the information and kind of imprint what you're getting in your brain. I think similarly with books, like it's cool to read a book once, but for us, what we do, we have top 5 books that we read every single year just on marriage alone, the same books. And we'll take a highlighter or a pen and each year mark in the front cover what that year's color is and go back through and see what we highlighted in years past. And it's interesting. You when you reread things like that year after year, you get different things out of them every single time. So I would highly recommend that book to anybody listening. I mean, that's one of just a few, like Brian had mentioned. But Love and Respect, I think, has been really good for our relationship.
Yeah.
The reason why I ask who the author was too was because it sounded, just from the title, I could tell that it was like a really good book and it was like juicy. But I was wondering like if it was coming from like a masculine or a feminine. You know what I mean? Like what side was it coming from, or was that person masculine and feminine? You know what I mean?
Right.
Is that a guy that wrote that book?
It is a guy. Actually, funny story. The first time I read the book, I was really kind of frustrated with it because half of it is about respect, and then the other half is about like love from like the woman's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised by a pretty feminist woman, so when you start talking about the guy's needs before the girl's needs, it was kind of hard to get through to that point because my mindset was just kind of wrong, to be completely honest, when I first picked it up.
Well, it wasn't really wrong. It's just you're very independent.
Yeah, I like to be independent.
But like, you know, not a lot of people like know how to have proper relationships. You know, I didn't have it all figured out either. I mean, I think that you came from way further back than I did.
Oh yeah.
Just kidding. We like to have fun. No, I think working on. I think always like anytime we fight, I go, why are we fighting? Like, why are we actually fighting? Like, what's the root? I think couples fight, couples make up, couples fight.
You're never actually, if you think back to like the most recent argument that you had, were you actually fighting about what was bothering you, or are you fighting about like a tipping point? I think there's a lot of tipping points and not a lot of like meat that you like actually argue about. Like I can, you know, be frustrated that Brian forgot to pick something up from the store, but the root of that is, well, you never consider my needs, or you never listen, or what, you know, like there's always, it's not that he forgot the milk. The milk isn't the issue. There's a lot of underlying things usually that lead to arguments.
You want to know a thought that I had that's really interesting? I don't want to take their whole podcast because they're probably like, these guys
no, this is great.
We don't.
You guys keep talking.
you know something that I realized recently this week, even like for real. I'm sure that's anybody.
Not even me.
Not even you. Is that you know when you're like more, so if you want to have a better relationship, you know what I found helps tremendously, like being joyful and actually being in love, right? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about our text messages. Like we've been sending more he and the purple hearts to each other than ha-has and like trying to one up each other and make zingers this week. Like I've been sending you more like he, like I'm in love with you. Because I care about you and I'm in love with you. So I think that's something that if people are maybe having that affection for the wife or the respect for the husband, it's like you can get a pulse of your relationship. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Just something that was on my mind lately this week is that I want to just continue proving to you that I care about you. I love you.
Aww.
Titled Brian Gets Mushy. That's the title.
Brian trying to get some brownie points.
I got brownie points in my bank, John. I got gold bars. I got racks on racks, and nobody can burn them as fast as I can either. So.
Brian's also very good at double baked brownie points. A double baked brownie point is when you compliment your spouse to somebody else and it gets back to them. So it's not that they heard the compliment or whatever they were edifying directly from your spouse. If you hear, well, Brian was really talking about how proud of you he was, you know, about this or that. We call those double baked brownie points.
I think
Brian's favorite.
I think I'm just really good at anytime we are betting rock paper scissors style. I always double it up. So I like to double up rock paper scissors bet, and usually I win the good ones, the ones that matter. Mm-hmm. Liz wins like the you got to take me to the movies tonight, but I win like the big ones. And those sometimes result in favors, but that's a whole nother topic.
There's not a whole lot. Okay, so we have like two major cornerstones. This is getting kind of off topic.
We're not going down this.
I don't know. This has nothing to do with
I'll give you some marriage advice, Keith. Let's do it.
One of our biggest cornerstones has been there's not a whole lot that like a good game of rock, paper, scissors can't solve. You know, if you're having a disagreement. And what's your other one?
What?
You know.
What? I don't know.
Never argue with your clothes on.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like nobody knows Brian's loving. Like you.
Nope.
And now these people.
Mm-hmm.
You people. Whoever's listening to this podcast.
Think about it, though. If you're mad and you're having a disagreement and you can't, you know, come up with like a solution, like a decent compromise, if you play a game of rock, paper, scissors, like how mad are you actually going to be at the end of that game? Like, it's very hard to stay, like, mad through a game of rock, paper, scissors. And similarly, if you're in a heated argument to where you have to separate and go into a different room from each other. If you come back in 5 minutes just in the nude, try and keep a freaking argument going with that.
Eat your heart out, Dr. Chapman.
Yeah.
This is good. Brian's Law Maintenance and Fullerton Party of Two Marriage channel. Yeah.
Those people are weird.
So do you guys practice that?
Do we practice being naked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There have been times that Brian has come out of a room and he'll be
I'm tired of fighting.
In his birthday suit.
Oh.
He's just done.
I'm tired of fighting.
And I'll
man.
tell you, it ends the conversation.
Well, okay,
That's awesome.
a little bit more context. You know, like when you get married, like there's like the jar and everybody puts like a piece of marriage advice or like scripture on like a popsicle stick.
Uh-huh.
Whatever the heck that thing is, like a tongue depressor stick, you know? And they were like, somebody said, never argue with your clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
And so like 3 years into our marriage, we were having a nasty fight or something. And I just, you know what? I said, screw it. I'm so sick and tired of everything anyway. What's the worst that could happen? I literally like came out buck naked. It was like I was out of a Duluth commercial. And I said, hey, and you go, what? And I said, I'm buck naked. And I didn't really say that, but like I kind of said that, you know, and we're like, wow, let's go, wow. And you said, what in Sam hell are you, what in Sam hell are you doing right now? I said, I don't know. I said, one of my friends left this sage wisdom and advice. I said, if he gave it to me, it had to have been good. Because I'm sure he's used it before. And that's all.
In every single argument, you need to go strip. That's more like a grenade. You use it as like kind of like a last resort, get yourself out of a ditch.
Yeah, man. But you ever seen like, I mean, landscapers are pretty fit. I'm just saying, like we work hard.
Oh yeah, after you know that Chick-fil-A and
there's no Chick-fil-A by us. I'm a salad and grilled chicken kind of guy, right, Keith? I'm
right.
Fit as a fiddle. That's right. Keith's got his green, you know, smoothies.
Keith and Ashley now regret asking.
This episode might get deleted, but it's good therapy for us.
It was good. It started out strong.
So what did you learn on this podcast? To read books and to just strip whenever you fight. That usually solves all of your problems. I'm sure that's in somebody's 5-step marriage plan, you know, when you're on the couch.
I'm going to write a marriage book called Arguing Naked.
Arguing Naked? You want to go write the first chapter tonight? Okay.
That actually sounds like a bestseller.
It does. Or rock, paper, scissors. Ooh.
Honestly, I'm waiting. Honestly, I'm waiting for the book to be adapted into a live video, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh my god.
What? We have all this expensive camera gear that sits around. Never get to use any of it.
We laid in bed one night listening to Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and some relationship stuff, and just laid listening to it till we fell asleep, and it actually made a difference. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't read that one, but I know I've heard of it.
I've heard of that one. I haven't read that one. There's that trailer.
It's a good one.
We'll get out of your guys' way, man, because we'll talk all night. We like first off, we like you guys, and we like sharing and trying to help, and just be real. You know, like people watch us on like YouTube and stuff like that, and from the outside in, what do you call it? Like an Instagram life. Everybody's got a pretty Instagram. Everybody looks pretty on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, arguably. But like, we're real people. Like we have emotions. We have bad days. We have good days. Sometimes I don't want to make a video. Sometimes I don't want to engage with the internet. You know, it's 100,000 people. You know, and sometimes people are mean.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people forget that there's real people on the other end of it. But you know what? What's the Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. Is that Spider-Man, Keith? So,
was that Spider-Man?
But anyway, I don't even know. I don't know.
Hey, we got to have you guys on the show again, but you're going to actually come to our studio, and we're going to do it on video with cameras.
I would love that.
110%. I can't wait to come check out your studio. I know the Untrapped podcast is going to the next level, dude, and I am a big fan of everything Keith Kalfas. I can't wait to see more Keith Kalfas story times at midnight on Facebook Live. Okay, like I'm a Keith Kalfas. I'm not a closet Keith Kalfas fanboy. I'm a public Keith Kalfas fanboy. And by the way, thank you for the kind compliments on our live event. But I think honestly, and thank God, you definitely delivered and stole the show I will tell you, personal story. I probably made an extra $1,000 yesterday working in my business just because of stuff that you shared in 25 minutes. And no hyperbole, no hype train. I mean, literally, I came home telling Liz, I go, I am totally doing X, Y, and Z based off what Keith Kalfas said.
Truly, like, I can't.
Is it true? I swear to God.
Hand to God, he's come home and said, I know my worth. Keith Kalfas taught me my worth.
Well, you can't give him the whole talk. It will be for sale for, $99, Doesn't sound fun. But, anyway, we appreciate you guys, both of you, more than you know. And honestly, like, I know you guys are just getting started too. So
yeah, this is with how much you guys have going on, we still know, we talk about it all the time. Like, this is only the beginning for you guys. Like, this is the smallest your businesses will be. This is the smallest your channel and social media outlets will be. Like,
you can tell. You can tell by the people that hit 5 stars reviews and leave comments and follow on Facebook. You guys have a really good thing going, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. Way before I was ever on the scene, and Liz was on the scene with me, and way before any of this mess. But we are standing on the shoulders of giants, Ben.
Thank you.
Can you believe it?
I have a vision that's captivated me. I can't let it go. I see eventually I'm gonna own or lease an actual warehouse, and I'm gonna dump $100,000 into it and turn it into an entire broadcast studio where people are gonna. But for now, this house we have, I'm investing in getting everything insulated and done. It's gonna be a whole studio out there, a heated, soundproofed, like bad to the bone studio with lights and cameras and microphones, and I can see it so clear, and we're going to touch so many people's lives because of this. It's going to literally just all unfold and happen. It's like my friend Eric said this thing, an elephant in a cage. Like, you open the door, and I'm learning that about entrepreneurship, success, relationships, marriage. When you work on something long enough, and it's like putting together a car. Like, at one point when the thing's done, you just turn in the key and turn it, and you could go 100 miles per hour. When everything starts to come together, it's like a bell curve, and things just take off really fast. So, but along the way, you can become discouraged, and it's just those small little tweaks when you just rearrange things, and you just keep moving forward, and then it all comes together and magic happens. And I'm very excited to see these things happening.
For all of us, for you guys too. You guys, we look up to you guys like big time, especially because you guys are, like you said, you're type A personalities. Like, I look up to type A people because I feel like I'm OCD, but I'm not quite there at that like type A yet, where like, you know what I mean? Like, I execute, but like my sister's type A, so I know how you guys are. You know what I mean? Like, you get stuff done. It's very organized. Yeah, like, and
we're crazy. Another way, you're being nice.
But we look up to you guys, and we aspire to be more like that. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's something that we need to aspire. Yeah,
your live event, when we saw you guys, the way you were working together and the way you were being the role models.
Yeah.
We looked at Ashley and I had looked at each other, and we're like, oh my God.
Like, look at how smooth everything's going, Keith.
That was interesting because our live.
They're funny. Shut up.
No, we looked at each other at the end and we're like, holy crap, we actually like did something I think kind of cool. Like, we the first time you do anything, like, you're so scared and like you don't know what to expect, and a bunch of unknowns, and there's so many things that could have went wrong. And I, honest to God, just think we got like super lucky.
Dude, when we were at the GIE, Keith, remember we were on stage doing the live panel, and you had like shared something for like 3 minutes, and then you're like, hey, and then you like whispered to me, you're like, hey, dude, bro, like, for real, did I do a good job just now? And I'm like, Keith, can I be honest with you? You're like, yeah, dude. And we're like whispering, like, it's so awkward on stage. And I go, that was the worst talk I've ever heard you give. And you were like, what? And I'm like, no, dude, I'm just kidding. You did a great job. And you're like, all like excited after. You're like, dude, for real? Like, don't mess with me. Like, for real. And I was like, dude, for real, you did a good job. And I literally remember on my live event doing the exact same thing back to Keith. I was like, hey, dude, like, how was it? And you're like, oh, man, it's amazing. I'm like, okay, thanks.
So for real.
But for real, like where am I at? Like, on a 1 to 10, it's like 1.5, 2, maybe 4. You're like, dude, for real, like you did a great job. And that meant a lot. Like,
yeah, it is really funny that you guys, you know, you just said like you would look up to us, because honestly, we feel that way about you. Like I remember last year, not just last
we're all
year.
in love together.
Yeah, I know. But like the CIE, not this last year, but the year previous, when we got those burgers with you guys before the rally, Brian was like, we're gonna go and we're gonna get food with Keith and Ashley. I was like, dog, Keith and Ashley? Like, are you like Keith and Ashley? And he's like, yeah, Keith and Ashley. And I was like, okay. We were so nervous. Like,
Keith, can I get the ketchup? I'm like shaking the bottle, you know, like messing with the bottle, you know. And I'm like, Keith, can I have the salt? They're like, yeah, dude. I'm like, you know, like not trying to like shake it, you know, and I'm like freaking out. And I'm like,
gosh.
You guys really nervous
He's
to
like, we're
meet us?
Yeah.
100%.
Why?
I'm not making this up. Like, because you have 50, 60,000, I don't know, 50, 60,000 subs a year ago, you know, I don't know. And I was like, just keep, I literally remember walking in. I'm like, hey, what? I'm like, don't mess this up. She's like, what? I go, and I'm like yelling at you, but I'm yelling at me too. I'm like, don't mess this up. These are important people. And you're like, okay, dude, like, I'm not going to mess them up. They're like normal people. And I'm like, this is Keith and Ashley Kalfas. They're amazing. Like, they lead people from the desert to the freedom land.
I think because you guys do operate so differently from us, just personality, like naturally, like we're like fascinated by you. Like, especially with like how
does he do his hair?
You are, and like how deep you take things, and the way that your mind works is just so different from how we are.
He can sing.
And yeah, oh my God, he was going to hit it talent.
I was hanging out with him at a hotel, and he starts singing like Chester from Linkin Park, and I'm like, what are you? He's like, falling in my skin. He's like singing like amazingly, and I'm like, why are you doing landscaping? like, what are you doing? Like, why? And he's like, oh yeah, like low key, like I had a record deal, and I'm like famous, but like I don't really talk about it because like I'm famous again. So like, such as. And I was like, I do remember you came home and you're like, hey, did you know that Keith can sing? And I was like, what do you mean he can sing? He's like, no, legit. Like, legit. Like, Keith is amazing. He's a multi-talented, platinum recording, record-selling man. We both wish we could sing. We actually, when we went to look for churches, we picked the loudest worship church because then we could sing and nobody around us could hear us. This is true. Because we sing so bad. This is true. Yeah. These people are getting way more than they bargained for. Way more than they bargained for.
That's okay, though. We like it. Come on, keep going.
So funny story, like, low key, I'm starting a podcast. Keith knows this. And we're like a week away from like starting to record episodes. And it is going to be insane because it's going to be called, I can't give the name away, but let's just say it's going to be Unfiltered. And people have no idea.
So polished.
They have no idea.
You know, he doesn't swear in his videos. He doesn't, get very political. Not that he's, it's a political podcast or anything, but, he keeps everything very family friendly, very positive, very uplifting. And I'm very excited to see.
Am I opinionated?
People see like the other side of Brian that I get access to. Not saying that he's going to swear and be like mean or, like I said, getting political again. But just that he's going to be more.
We might get political.
He's going to rip the Band-Aid off, and people are going to hear some stuff. And I think people are going to be a little taken back. I think people they have no idea. Like the 90% of what Brian actually is like. Yeah, I'm actually like probably certified crazy. Yeah. Like for sure. The more money I've made, the more like independent we've become. And I mean the last like 5-7 years, especially the last 2-3 years. And like the internet has like cut me open, and then I had like sew this thing back together again. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, there's not really much you can really say at this point, for me to like really care what you have to think. Like, and I mean that. And we know what works. I've known what works. I've had to fix my own life. Mm-hmm. Like we've had money. I could be happy with either, but I like being more wealthy than poor, right? Like I was a political.
Hello.
There's a lot of people out there that are just confused. Oh, we're still there?
Yeah, we're here now.
Cut out for a second. B&B
Blake
Albertson texted me real quick, and I am sorry. I was texting him, and I didn't know they're about to have a baby any day here.
Yeah.
I am so excited.
Like, they're due.
Okay. It just kind of really, really hit me.
They're ready to pop. But anyway, it's good. It's going to be good. I can't wait. But, hey, no, for real, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us on the podcast. And, Keith, because I'm on yours, you know that you got to reciprocate now, right?
Yeah, we're gonna come over to your house though. We're gonna get some food. We'll get some food. Then we'll come back to your house and we'll all sit around. I don't know if you have enough microphones yet, but I have microphones. I'll bring for Ashley and I, so you don't have to, because our setup has 4.
I got all of it, man.
You got
we
4?
Got 4, man. We're ready. Oh yeah. We're all in, bro.
I can't wait.
Yeah, like we took out a mortgage for it and everything. Like we are financially broke now. So like, if anybody wants to sponsor a podcast, like Lego or like Amazon, like for $10 million, it could really help.
Boom.
That way I can buy a Tesla one day. And, cause, pulling weeds only makes so much money. Anyway, just have fun.
Can you hear those sound effects?
Is that the laughing track?
Yeah.
I know. Oh yeah. That's the best one.
So, all right, let's wrap it up here. Any final words? Final thoughts?
Final words. I was so
final words.
Dark.
Final word.
Close us out. Close us out, Pastor Ashley. Final word.
Me close it.
No,
out?
I think this is good. I honestly, I appreciate you guys' big time, and I really do hope people subscribe to you guys' podcast and follow it and follow you guys. Like, Liz said something really good. She said, if you are struggling, if you are broke, if you're hurting, if you've had like relationship problems and all this other mess, like you're not alone out there, dude. Like I wish that's why I can't wait to have my podcast. It'll be unfiltered is part of it, and the reason is because like I thought everybody else had it figured out. Like for real, if you want to like look at Brian Fullerton in the last 15 years, I literally thought everybody else had it figured out. And then what I've realized is that everybody's a work in progress. Some people have a couple puzzle pieces figured out, but the reality is that we're all in this together. And I think if you want to band together and create community, if you think that's hokey pokey, or you think you're a tough guy and you don't need that kind of stuff, you're probably the first one that's going to be out. And I know that if you want to go fast, you got to go by yourself. But if you want to go far, you got to go with a group. Mm-hmm. And so I appreciate people like you who are the tip of the spear, somebody that I can link my caboose to and continue to help make your dreams come true, help support you guys as you guys help support us. I think it's a very powerful thing that we all have going on here.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Cool. All right. Thanks for being on the show, guys. Brian and Liz Fullerton. Look up Brian's Lawn Maintenance on YouTube, and then their channel together, which is Fullerton Party of Two. And then look up Brian Fullerton on Instagram. And then I'll put the links in the show notes below. All right. That's the end of this episode. And I'll see you guys. You can listen to the Untrapped podcast on any major podcast platforms or go to keithkalfas.com, and navigate over to the podcast tab. And then you can access it from there. And then let's get a final message from our sponsor. I'll just do it right now. Guys, if you want an awesome software that you can run your business on, you could do invoicing, estimates, billing, quotes. You could track all of your customer data and make your business be very professional in the perception of the eyes of your customers. Then you got to check out Jobber. You can get a free trial of Jobber right now and a discount if you go to my link, keithkalfas.com/Jobber. That's Jobber. Jobber is awesome. We've been using it in our business and we love it. It has an awesome, fast, reliable mobile app. So I walk the property with a customer. I create an estimate. I send it to the customer on Jobber. They accept it. We turn it into a work order. And then we invoice the customer and they can make their payment. They can literally pay their bill directly on Jobber and it gets deposited directly into my business bank account. Check out Jobber. There's a lot of awesome softwares out there. So I'm not saying Jobber is the only one in the world, but it's the one we use and it's the one that we rely on. keithkalfas.com/Jobber. All right. See you next time.